Hey everybody, Carm Capriato and my friend
Tom Ham, how are you?
Tom Ham. Hello. It is episode number 2 of AftermarketWeekly.com as we broadcast on YouTube, we broadcast on Facebook and on my Facebook page and a whole bunch of places because what we think um, we have a great show each and every Tuesday at noon, 9 a.m. Pacific. And Tom and I, actually, we had so much fun last week. I don't know about you, but I had a blast.
Whole thing went by in about 10 minutes.
It did, and we worked so hard to put this together for you each and every week. We're having all these different topics and trends, and Tom's doing a lot of research to bring what you may call topical things for us to think about and talk about. And the big highlight happens about 18 minutes after the hour. And what is that?
Oh, we're going to go live and no idea what's going to happen, but we're going to go to northern Wisconsin and see what's happening up there.
Yeah, I know. We're going to do another shop tour, and you should be able to see a shop tour each and every week here on aftermarketweekly.com. Don't forget, that's our website. You can see each and every one of these episodes played over and over again to your heart's content. And yeah, at 18 minutes after, Jeff Ruffing is going to join us. But in the meantime, Tom, let's move into trends. And as soon as I figure out where that thing is, I think there it is. Trends.
There's the trends. Okay. Trends. We had a trend a few years ago called Cash for Clunkers.
Oh,
and it
no.
seems like that trend appears to be rearing its ugly head again. Ford Motor Company thinks it's a good idea, and I think there's a few other people do too. The interesting thing about it is when you do the assessment from a couple of years ago and you do a little research on it, there's kind of a range of opinions on it. And they range from 1 thumbs down to 20 thumbs down. And maybe a few neutrals, but you'll find very few people that thought the thing was good. It was bad economic policy, fiscal policy, environmental policy. It just failed in every way. Just to remind you, people could turn in their car, which was sometimes a perfectly good car, and the government would give you some $3,000 or $4,000 to go out as a coupon to go out and take it off the price of a new car. And the total cost of that to taxpayers for every one of those $3,000 and $4,000 rebates was about $24,000. So you can insert the comment of your choice about government right there. Obviously, it just very expensive for very little improvement. What it did, it caused some shops that were kind of borderline to close, killed some parts stores, the jobs that go with them. It shipped some jobs overseas to build the imported cars that were bought with the money. And our favorite, sarcastically, thing about it is, you know what they did with the, quote, clunkers, again, often perfectly good running cars. What did they do with them?
They destroyed them.
They destroyed them. What they wanted to make sure that nobody, like mechanics are, let's not take the engine and see if we can take a car that needs a motor and see if we can make the thing go again. No, we're just going to pour a bunch of chemicals in the engine and destroy it and ruin it. Almost a sin from a mechanic standpoint. And this was just a bad idea then. People are bringing it up now. And I would just hope that if you're in the aftermarket anywhere, that you would tell people, your friends, your neighbors, customers, employees, that when this topic comes up, everybody needs to know it's a bad idea and make sure that gets back to your legislator so they don't even think about doing this.
Even if they destroyed the engine, would they have used the rest of the vehicle? The seats and the bumpers and the panels for aftermarket.
From what I read, the vehicles were often crushed,
Yeah.
and they were shipped to. You're gonna love this. Where do you think they shipped them to?
China.
China. Yeah. So China could use those contents to build new cars and new parts and send them back
And
to us
ship them
again.
back and ship them back. I get it. Well, Tom, thanks for bringing this up. I think it's important, and I think we as an industry need to keep our ear to the ground. And I think it's really an important time in our world that we need to reach out to our legislators no matter if it's statewide or if it's federal government, and tell them how we feel, because
Yeah.
it's going to change rapidly and quickly.
Yeah, and this is just one of course, dozens of areas that are going to change. And this is, if you don't like to normally contact you don't have to get involved in politics, really, but you can at least, especially with electronic communications nowadays, you can very simply contact your senator or congressman, whether it's state or federal, and give your opinion on some of this stuff. You don't have to become an activist, but they need to hear from you, and that does make a difference.
Well, thank you for that. Hey, by the way, I don't know if anyone knows Tom Ham, Automotive Management Network, a fabulous 14,000 members site, everything automotive, everything aftermarket. He owns a shop also, Autocentric in Michigan.
Yeah, we do. It's a little bit quieter than we'd like up there right now, but hopefully we'll get it open. We're going to open up the northern half of the state very soon, but the southern half, which we're in, looks like it's going to be under for a while.
And good. And of course, I'm from Remarkable Results Radio, the Town Hall Academy, and we've been podcasting and delivering business acumen to the industry for about 5 years now. So, Tom, let's jump into our next topic, and let's do a survey.
Yeah, we do a lot of surveys on our website, and we dug back to one we did recently. And we wanted to check with our members, shop owners. And have you ever had a shop evaluation? Fancy word for kind of an inspection where people come in and look everything over. And we kind of focus on what the customer sees, what the customer experiences, feels, touches, smells, the whole thing. Well, we can look the whole shop over too. And this has been something that's gone on for quite a while now, a number of years.
Sure has. Yep.
The most common way, or maybe the people who originate it most, were in various peer groups, or also called 20 groups.
Yep.
That's where I first came across it. But consultants do it, and trainers do it, and coaches. And sometimes what some shops have done, they've gotten together and they've looked at each other's shop. And you don't even have to be a shop owner. It can be some business people in your town who have a restaurant or some totally different kind of thing, and they can come in there and take a look at your shop. Very valuable tool.
Boy, do I hear the discussion from, I remember calling a shop owner, wanted to do an interview with him. I said, listen, I'm so busy. I said, what are you doing? She says, well, I'm painting and I'm cleaning because the group is coming in to evaluate me. And of course, say, for example, a half a dozen of the peer group comes in. Well, 2 of them will take the front, 2 of them will take the back, 2 of them will take back office. And then after that visit, they would go back to their hotel rooms, write up a report, and then present it the next morning. Not at the shop, but in a if you will, a round table. And you talk about deep dive, and what a way to learn about your business from, and again, not all the answers are right answers, and not all of them are wrong.
No, you get a lot of great ideas. You do have to be prepared for it a little bit. If you really want them to do a great job, then you have to tell them, hey, go after everything. Don't hold back. Let me have it. And then you got to kind of put your hard emotional shell on so you don't become defensive about some of the things that they find.
So what did the survey say?
Survey said about half of the people had one, but the other half had not. We would encourage everybody to do it. You can obviously spend the big money, but if you can't afford that, you can just have a few of your friends, business people, do it. Have them come in, take a look. We suggest it be really in depth. This is not a few minute thing. As you referred to, often typically spend 3 or 4 hours looking every corner of the business over. You can give people a clipboard with a legal pad, or we actually have a shop evaluation document, which we created on Automotive Management Network. We call it the Points of Contact checklist.
Okay.
And it's one of our 300 or so premium documents. However, for sample purposes, we've taken about a half a dozen documents and made them free. So you say, what is in this premium document area? That happens to be one of the free ones. So anybody watching this can go on there. It's about a 7-page document. It covers every aspect of what a customer sees, and use that as a checklist and a scoring sheet. And
a self-evaluation,
to-do
right?
list to fix things up.
A self-evaluation.
Yes.
Well, the survey says 7% by management company, 8% by management consultant, 18% by a business coach, and I think it was 4% by a peer group. And of course, the cool thing about your surveys is they just sit out there perpetually. So if you drop by, you can just about fill out a survey anytime, right?
We do have the surveys available to everybody. You can look at them. You can see what the results are. Uh, we make the last several are free for anybody to look at, and then the rest of them you'd have to be a premium member. But we don't ever take them down. So when you want to research something or you're working on some kind of management thing that you remember seeing on there a couple of years ago, you can go back and find it. Yep.
Let's move on, Tom. Technology.
This is, there's so many interesting things happen right now. The things are changing so fast. One thing we've heard about for years is right to repair.
Yeah.
And that's been all kinds of legislative battles, so on and so forth.
Let me stop you right there. To anyone who's listening right now, don't think this is going to be a normal right to repair rant about our industry. This is so cool. You gotta listen to Tom here.
Don't tune out. A couple of minutes. We'll get to the punchline. Yeah. But right to repair, it affects a lot of different stuff. And, we think about it, cars and the legislation and all that kind of stuff. Well, what it's also involved is one of the big ones that you heard about more recently the last few years is farm equipment. The farmers are getting very frustrated because they can't fix their own equipment. And of course, it also affects even military weapons and electronics and all kinds. Obviously, passenger cars and trucks, and telephones are on the list, absolutely. And it also affects medical equipment. More specifically, what it affects is ventilators. So when you heard that nobody could get ventilators here back a couple months ago, one thing that wasn't often part of that story is the reason was there was no right to repair with these things. The manufacturers had all the information tied up, all the manuals, all the training, software locks, all this kind of thing. Nobody out there in the field could do it, and they would not unlock it. They would not give it to anybody. A lot of them wouldn't. Interesting, state of California had a whole pile of ventilators sitting there, and they contacted the manufacturer and said, well, these things need an update, which is common over some kind of software update or whatever. They need something to get going. And the manufacturer said, if you would package them up and ship them to us, we'll take care of that. We'll send them back to you in about 30 days. Well, I mean, just to state the obvious with a ventilator, well, a lot of people might be dead at that point. So the state of California went out, found an outside firm that said, we will take that on. And they got the information legally. They found some legal channels where they had some connections to get the information. And that company assembled training, performed training, trained their technicians, went into the ventilators, and by the end of that weekend, they had 170 ventilators working instead of waiting for 30 days. So, it's good. We're going to get right to repair more with medical equipment. And I think that'll bleed over into everything from phone to automobiles too. So it will affect us. One interesting point that they made is about half of all the medical equipment in the world today, especially in developing countries, is not usable at any one time because of right to repair issues.
Yeah. It's amazing.
They can't even get it to work at all.
Thank you for this research, by the way, to realize how many things really do fall under the right to repair. And by the way, everything that Tom is talking to you about here, he's got the article that we can point you to. In fact, Tom, I was thinking that in the show page that we put out on our website, that maybe we should put these links in there.
Some documentation.
Yeah, documentation, so people can go back and actually look at it and read it and realize that there is press. And there are articles being written, and in this one article about right to repair, it included all the medical equipment, the phones, and they're alike. But it did cover the automotive too. So a really important. Thank you for digging that up. Appreciate that. Ready to go to money? Let's talk about some money.
Yeah, let's talk about things that affect our income and things that maybe affect the income of customers that we have. If one thing you may have noticed in the news this week, in case you didn't, is Twitter said, of course, when the COVID first came on, Twitter said our employees, because of the nature of what they do, go ahead, work from home, don't come into the office. And we could do that with like 99% of their employees or whatever. And Twitter came out this week and said, if you can do your job successfully at home, you may do that forever. If you're going to work for Twitter for 10, 20 years, you can work at home for the next 10, 20 years. Obviously, there's other companies that are going to do the same thing. And if you think about it, if you have some customers that are those people, the need for that vehicle that they've been driving is either severely reduced and in some cases totally eliminated. Some communities nowadays are very walkable, et cetera, in the milder climates. They just don't need the vehicle at all. So you could lose customers just because of the change in the way to do things.
But miles driven is going to be down. But I also saw an article today, and I can't remember where, that the love of your vehicle may come back because they may not be taking as much public transportation.
Yeah, some people have decided that although they've been taking the subway, they've been taking the train, the commuter plane, the Uber, the Lyft, the bus, whatever, they've decided that, I really don't want to do that anymore. I mean, you see the news the way people are packed into those things often, and it is a little bit scary getting back into any kind of a paid ride, Uber or anything nowadays. So a certain number of those people have said, you know what, I'm going to get a car, or I'm going to dust off the car I've got sitting around, and we're going to go out. And in some cases, people are going to buy their first car, and they're going to need somebody to take care of that car. So they can fill the void with some of these other people. A good thing to do when you're planning your marketing as your state opens up, wherever that is think about those people that maybe, especially if you're in an area with heavy use of public transportation, there's going to be people out there that have not commuted to work in years in their own vehicle. They're going to need somebody dependable to take care of them, to be their friend, to understand what's going on in the car, help me out. So how could you market to those people? How could you message to those people, get a hold of them and say, hey, our shop, we can help you take care of a car. You've never had to do this before. We'll show you how to do it.
Yeah, scenario, I'm working from home. I'm not commuting anymore, yet my car does need service. And since I am not on the road and maybe driving by your shop or, looking for a ride to and fro with a friend, I think the drop off and pickup, or what a lot of people call a concierge service, is going to be, whoever, it's kind of like this. If you jumped on DVI 5 years ago, you're way ahead of the curve, right?
Yes.
If you jump on this pickup and drop off and figure it into your costs, calculate how it works, come up with a system and a plan, you're going to be light years ahead.
Oh, everything is going digital so fast, and people are finally starting to embrace it, and you really got to embrace as a shop owner and take advantage of it.
Does it matter how my time is free when I need to set an appointment? When do you want to come in? Let me see what time I have to get to work. I had the kids. Wait a minute, just come and get my car. Yeah. Whenever it's convenient for you, come and get the car.
Absolutely, bring it down.
Wow, cool. Hey, by the way, this is the first the only automotive aftermarket weekly magazine style show where the hosts wear ties. That we wear ties.
Well, and we got Memorial Day weekend coming up a little bit here, so I didn't tell Carm, but I spiffed it up a little bit just for the troops, so on and so forth, a little bit of respect. Mom always used to call it Decoration Day. It was a real big thing in our family, and so it's coming up this weekend.
Good for you. And by the way, we're on Facebook. If anyone wants to have some chatter on Facebook or reach a question or even make a comment, that would be wonderful. Hey, let's bring in our friend Jeff Ruffing. Hey, Jeff, how are you? Been nicely sitting on the sidelines and so patient, and we are about ready to get a shop tour with you. Let me just get up the right graphic. Look at that. And I'm going to turn it over to Tom.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, how's things up northern Wisconsin?
Pretty good. Just a little drizzly today. We had full rain for a couple of days. So
Liquid
we're
sunshine.
happy with drizzle.
Take us outside and let's see some of the cool stuff you've been doing lately.
All right. Now let's see. I can't find the turnaround button that I saw before. Wonderful.
Well, we can look at you for 7 or 8 minutes.
Good Lord, you don't want to do that. Oh my God, why can't I find that button? Can you switch me back to a different view? The button was there. Otherwise, I gotta go blind. We'll go blind.
Go ahead and go blind for a second. I'll just.
All right.
Oh,
Hey,
look
more
at
Blake.
that.
Yep. Our QC technician doing some
I
light
don't
cleaning and stuff.
see any sunshine. Yeah, but that's a beautiful day. Look
Well,
at
you
that.
can tell I haven't been outside for a while.
I guess not.
But yeah, here's where we have the tires in a covered area because they are required to be covered here.
Looks like there's some brand new pavement down there.
Brand new blacktop got put in last week.
That's new.
I called on the quote, asked if there was any wiggle room, and there was wiggle room if I moved quickly. So I did.
That looks really nice. I
you.
love new blacktop.
Yeah, we needed it. And then here are cars that are staged for the quality control. And then as we come around the corner here, these are our loaner cars. We have 11 of them.
11.
11 of them.
11 loaner cars.
And
Wow.
here we've got landscaping. And I had a shop evaluation done last year where they recommended that I take down some very big, beautiful, mature trees. And I didn't want to do it until they showed me a video of approaching my shop and we could not see the big sign that cost more than the house I grew up in.
Trees are a wonderful thing, but not in front of a business.
No, and I thought you could see it good enough, but you couldn't. And this is our front parking lot. And
Boy, it's pretty out front there.
Thank you. Customer cars get parked here when they're finished. They're backed in. And it used to be a landscaping company owned it, so we had great landscaping, but I had it backed down.
Okay, all right.
We took a berm out. Right now we're doing a food drive, so that's a contactless drop for food.
Okay.
We've got the early bird drop, and going in is a cell phone locker for key pickup after hours.
Okay.
You can see that's still a farm field right next door, so we had gotten away with just putting keys in cars for a long time.
All right.
But the area is maturing and people aren't comfortable with it anymore.
I saw a big logo right there. That logo on the frosted glass, that really looks sharp.
Yeah, that turned out really well. And this is where we have the interaction with the customer. And then we decided to go sliding glass on these because sometimes we have 2 or 3 customers to take care of at a time.
That's pretty.
This is the customer waiting area. And like I said, the food drive's going really well.
Ooh, holy cow.
Yeah, I've done it before where I had to buy a few things to finish filling a tote so I wasn't embarrassed when I dropped it off. But we've had a great response. We've had people dropping off checks and cash. We've got
that's so nice.
Isn't it? We've got almost a couple $100 for the food pantry.
Good
Here
grief.
is the customer bathroom.
That looks good.
And
You're
here
going to take
it
us out
is.
in the shop.
Yeah, and here's the service advisor area.
Okay.
And here is the board that we would kind of track
All right.
progress on how things are going.
Yeah.
Got Danny and Troy working here.
Okay. Nice workstation.
Out into the shop.
Yeah.
And we've been moving things around a lot. We moved 2 hoists to fit in another one. So we are up to 8 hoists if you count the
8
alignment
lifts.
rack. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
And so there's been a lot of transition, like that air filtration system up there, the
Yeah.
jet. I don't know if you can see that. That
Yeah.
belongs over our tire area.
Okay.
We got the screw oil compressor, sandblasting cabinet for brake caliper brackets. We do a lot of wheel bead grinding,
Yeah.
and it creates a lot of dust. So I did rig up a woodworking sawdust collector.
I've never seen that
situation
before.
Yeah, so it works great. It goes right in there. Then we had that other one up above it just to kind of control the general air quality, so the techs don't have to breathe all that.
Oh, I would appreciate that if I was a tech. Good grief.
Yeah, and I just didn't get moved over here yet.
Okay.
And we're at 4 technicians right now. We've transitioned to more totes and less barrels for the bulk fluid to free up floor space. And in some oils where we just don't go through quite as much yet, we're still using the eco boxes.
I'm seeing classic cars in there. I'm seeing at least 2 cars
Yeah, which is
out of the
not-
60s.
Yeah, so we got
Wow.
the Studebaker Avanti. I believe that one's a 63. And then we've got a Plymouth Sport Fury. I think that one was a 65 or a 6. And we've been seeing more people were finishing up their projects because they were at home. So it got to the stage where they could bring it in and have us finish it with the alignment or the things that were over their head.
What are some fun cars to have? Got anything interesting to show us in the office?
A little bit.
So this is your enclave, and I happened to glance at that fish before. What there's got to? Did you buy that fish?
I paid for the replica. I caught a 51-inch in Canada.
That's over 4 feet long. That's a big fish.
It was a good day.
Wow.
And then I caught this one in Wisconsin that same summer, so I thought I had it all figured out. And I have not caught anything over 44 inches since. So
I
do not have it all figured out.
More.
Yeah, I got to fish more.
Hey, we appreciate it. It's a great. Go ahead, tell us the calendar.
I would say that is my marketing calendar.
Okay.
I always seem to be behind on marketing until I laid out the whole year at once, and then I've got my target area that we work on.
Oh.
And I got a lot better at the stuff after I started planning it out that way.
Start laying it out. Very cool.
Yep.
Yeah, really.
Hey, thanks,
smart,
Jeff.
Really
Thanks, Jeff.
smart stuff, Jeff. Man.
Jeff, get the Packers playing in a few weeks here, would you? Practice.
I'm hoping so. I'm sending my check in next week.
Okay, yeah, you don't have season tickets, do you?
I do. I waited 25 years for them.
You
but I
do
got
have
them.
season tickets to the Packers. Okay.
Hey, Jeff, thank you so much. Great tour. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Yep, you bet. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, man. Oh, Tom, that was great. Thanks for all the extra work on that. Yeah, it's so that everyone knows there's always some rehearsal that we have to go through in order to make this thing work and work right. So again, every week we're going to have a shop tour. We got one. We're a little over time, Tom, but you know what? I want to do this last segment. Let's do this.
One quick hitter.
Yeah.
That's a piece of trivia or statistics. And I was wondering how many vehicles are there in the world? Now most of them are the regular cars and light trucks that we drive, but just vehicles overall, semis and everything else. And we looked, and there's about roughly 1.2 billion vehicles in the world. By 2035, only 15 years from now, which goes by really fast, they're expecting there to be 2 billion vehicles in the world.
Billion.
And probably the most amazing thing that I found out of that increase, of that 800 million increase, 90% of those will be gasoline or diesel.
Wow. And that's coming from greencarreports.com,
Yeah.
that piece of information, which is a surprise.
It's amazing if somebody said, boy, it's all going to be electric, so you're not going to be able to work on gas cars in 5 years. Now, actually, you probably got another 30, 40 years to go.
I did a great episode probably a month and a half ago with Derek Kaufman on the whole battery electric vehicle thing. It is so interesting to listen to because Derek did his research and he brought some great information for us. So go to my website, remarkableresults.biz, type in Derek Kaufman and enjoy the battery electric vehicle episode. And thanks for this. Hey, this was fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. 12
Absolutely.
noon East, 9 a.m. Pacific for aftermarketweekly.com. This episode will appear on aftermarketweekly.com on the episodes page, probably in a couple of hours. And you can rewatch it again on Facebook. And we just so thank everyone who's kind of hanging with us as we slowly and nicely build a great audience. And thanks to Jeff Ruffring.
Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. The day after, when you get back, we'll be here.
Is it coming up already? I mean, is that next
so.
week? No, I don't think that's next week. I think it's in 2 weeks. Am I right? Why do I think it's in 2 weeks? Well, you know what? I haven't looked at a calendar in a while. So, Tom, you're probably right because you're smarter than me.
Now you have me doubt myself.
No problem, sir. I sure don't want to confuse the audience. So whatever Tom says is right.
Or Carm.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.